Hello, today our topic is how do I listen to and be informed by the universe? Welcome, I'm Peggy O'Neill. I'm the founder of Answering the Call. It's a Facebook group and also the ongoing work that I do with others to help us know who we truly are, answering that call, a longing, and then usually when we answer that call and discover our essential nature as one being, that we share our being with everyone and everything, then another longing starts appearing, which is the desire to fully express this knowing in the world in our own unique way. If you're with us live, please say hi in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, please put in the hashtag replay. If you have any questions or comments at any time, please put them in the comments. And if you're watching this on replay, I will come back and answer them. So let's get going. Excuse me. So how do I listen to and be informed by the universe? We're going to explore why silence is wisdom, why most, if not all, of the wisdom available to us isn't going to be offered in the form of thinking, and then how do we avoid the interference of thinking, and then how to be a receiver of wisdom. So silence is wisdom. Sorry, I just got through eating lunch and I hadn't said anything to anybody since, so I didn't know that was happening with my throat. I apologize. All right, so why silence is wisdom? As I said, who we are is one being. And that one being is the background, given that's who we truly are, then that one being is open, empty, allowing space out of which each of us arises. So we're made out of consciousness, made out of this space, express this space, and are this space, this consciousness, this open allowing. And so that's wisdom. That wisdom is a knowing. It's a sensing. It's a like if I asked you right now, do you know that you exist? You'd say yes, and that's a knowing. It's not an intellectual. You didn't have to think about it. You just knew that you exist. If I said, "Is your name whatever your name is, Bob or Mary?" you would just know that's your name. So wisdom is like that, and that's our essential nature, is that wisdom, the knowing that already exists, and that's silence. It's not a noise. It's not a talking to us. In fact, very little wisdom. I've had incredible insights lately, and they don't come in the form of like a sentence, in the form of thinking. It's just a knowing that then our mind puts words to. So, and it's in the being silent that the wisdom can arise or appear to us, because that's where the wisdom is. If we're paying attention to our thinking mind, then we start noticing pretty quickly that thoughts are just going constantly. And yes, there might not be, quote, noise, but it's not really silence, because the stream of thinking has our attention, and that's not where the wisdom is. And that's our finite minds, our limited minds want to focus on all that thinking that's going by. But what we want to do is relax our attention from that to that silence, that empty space. I'm using that interchangeably today. That's where the wisdom is. That's who we are. thoughts are made out of consciousness, are an appearance of consciousness, and they're like objects, like not objects in like the material sense of a computer, but they're objects that catch our attention. And wisdom is going to come about in another way. It's not going to be that kind of attention grabber. So silence is wisdom because it's the space that we are. And wisdom is being open to the unknown. And so our thinking mind only knows what it already knows. It doesn't know the unknown. And so we want to also allow ourselves to be open to what we don't know, to the knowing that's available to us. It's actually like floating around all the time. We've all had these experiences where we have a sudden insight or a knowing or an understanding, or like, where did that come from? An idea, where did that come from? That's what I'm talking about here. It's like if I'm focused on the mind and I'm thinking all the time, it's like a door is closed. And so we want to open that door, let in the light, let the wisdom in by closing that door. So how do we do that? So I've said that we're going to talk about how to avoid the interference of thinking, and that's the beginning of it, is realizing, oh yeah, if I'm focused on thinking, that's like a door keeping away the wisdom that's available. Because and we love to pay attention to our thinking. Rupert Spira says that's the what would you call it? That's the addiction that we all have. He called it that. It was because he and Bernardo Kastrup were doing a webinar in an addiction series, and Rupert said, that's the most prevalent, there we go, that's the word I'm looking for, most prevalent addiction, and we all have it. We're addicted to our thoughts. And so that is going to keep us from accessing and knowing wisdom. And so how we avoid the interference of the thinking is we relax the focus of attention, as I said a few minutes ago. We just start learning how to. We don't learn how to. It becomes a habit, but it can be very challenging because focusing on our thinking is an addiction, and so it's very challenging to relax our focus and not pay attention to our thinking. That's why most, if not all, of the wisdom. That's how to avoid the interference of thinking, is to relax the focus of attention from that thinking. If we're paying attention to thinking all the time and relying on our mind, and which it's a great thing to have. Our mind has incredible ability to create, to resolve issues and address concerns that need to be addressed. I'm not bad-mouthing the mind. The mind is just different from wisdom. Mind is different from any sort of intuition, making a distinction here. And so and our mind can analyze, and it can figure out what to do next. Like if a car breaks down, that's sort of, what do I need to do next? Our mind is brilliant at that, but that's not where the wisdom is. So because the inherent goodness and wisdom that is consciousness is just distinct from that. If we rely more on our minds and our thinking than on consciousness, then we're basically putting more faith in this finite, limited being than we are in consciousness, infinite wisdom, infinite intelligence and goodness of the universe. So as long as we rely on the mind's intellect, we can't access, and the intelligence won't be unleashed. Well, it's always unleashed, but our experience of it won't be that it's unleashed because we're not accessing it. We're not available to it and open to it. So, but what we can do is relax our attention and start allowing the infinite into our lives in the way I'm talking about today. So then how do we be a receiver of wisdom? Well, part of it's being aware of everything that I've said. And then also, we can ask ourselves, am I ready to relax the control that I think I have over my life and to listen to the infinite, to allow the divine will to be in control, which it already is. Most of us think it isn't, but it already is. But so we resist life, we resist what's going on, we resist paying attention to what's trying to come to us. How do we resist it? We say, oh, I can't really do that, or that doesn't make any sense, or all the things. We have, again, lots of ideas, I'm sure, come to you, come to me, and somewhere along the way we poo-poo them. Well, I can't do that. I can't, leave this and go do that. That sort of thing that we aren't. And I'm not advocating that you quit a job. I don't mean that. Unless you feel really called to do it, then we can trust that. But we can start in small steps. We don't have to jump off a cliff. So you can start in small steps. So really invite yourself to be more sensitive, saying, you know what, I'm going to really start paying attention to the nudges that I get. I'm going to start paying attention to these things that catch my attention that I'm kind of surprised about. That happens to me. I don't watch much TV, but and usually it's something that's recorded, so I can move through the commercials. but if I'm watching something where the commercials are there, if I don't have it muted, then sometimes a phrase in a commercial will catch my attention. I'll rewind it. What was that? So even in a commercial or a TV show or a book I'm reading, a particular word or topic may stand out. So we start paying attention to that and know that that's really us. We're universal wisdom. We're universal intelligence. That's us talking to ourselves, us messaging ourselves. So to be a receiver of wisdom, then we can think of ourselves being more in service to the universe, in service to life, inviting ourselves to be used by the universe, used by consciousness. And when we do that sort of thing, and we're still, and our whole body relaxes, we feel open, we've allowed ourselves to fully relax, or as much as we can. It might feel like at the beginning you're relaxing quite a bit, and then a month later you realize, oh, I really wasn't relaxing there, because we're so tense, we're so tight, we're so in control. Just start relaxing our body, relax the focus of attention away from our thoughts, and focus on our hearts, invite ourselves to be open and just be still. And we can maybe have some situation we're working with in our lives, and just be open to an understanding that can come to us around it. We can ask a question like, what's really going on here? Not to find out a psychological answer, but to sit in that open space and see what arises, what might appear and come to you around this situation or life question. So I'm going to see if there are any questions or comments. Okay, there aren't any, so I will review. So how do I listen to and be informed by the universe? Silence is wisdom, and what I mean by that is our thinking is not wisdom. Our thinking is a stream of thoughts, like clouds going by, or like cars going by on a highway. That's what our thoughts are. So that's not wisdom. I mean, it might be intelligent, and it might have some great ideas and so on, but that's not wisdom like I'm talking about. Wisdom I'm talking about is a sensing, an intuiting, a noticing, a nudging. And so it does take paying attention and inviting that and being open to it. And I'm not sure any wisdom is ever really offered to us in the form of thinking, but I'm not going to say that it's never, although I've kind of talked that way today. But maybe it could, or it, when we first notice it, it might feel like it's, or it might, well, I thought that. And then over time we realize, oh, really what happened is something came to me in my mind, translated it for me. It wasn't quite the same feeling quality, if you will, of thinking. You'll notice the difference. There's a difference between the thinking of the finite mind and some sort of thought or idea that's translated and comes to you through infinite intelligence. And they're both infinite intelligence, but that's for another conversation. And then we avoid the interference of thinking because everything's universal intelligence. So that's the short answer to that. But anyway, so how to avoid the interference of thinking is we relax the focus of attention and notice when our attention is on thinking, and relax the focus of attention. And then to be a receiver of wisdom, it's an intention. It's like, okay, I'm really ready to listen. I'm really ready to be guided here. I'm really ready for the wisdom of the universe. And then we start being more still, more silent. You don't have to do it for 4 hours. You can do it for 5 minutes. Pause occasionally throughout the day. Just pause and listen. You can ask questions off and on, like, I'd love an idea around this, or I wonder what's going on in this situation. And then the universe will answer when it's ready. So you don't have to sit there forever. And often it won't answer in our time frame. Sometimes it will, but it often doesn't. Yesterday I was meditating on something, or it was the day before, and then nothing was coming to me, and that's fine. And then I went outside for my walk, say 30 minutes later, went outside, and within probably 50 feet, this huge insight came to me about the situation. So that's what I mean. It came upon me like a tidal wave, if you know that, what's his name, Meatloaf song. Anyway, but it did. It's just like, wow, that was incredible. So, and very powerful. So I encourage, if this interests you, to really allow yourself to trust, to become open to the wisdom of the universe, and really allow yourself to receive the wisdom of the universe. It's incredibly powerful. Our times are really asking for us, or I'm not saying that very well, but given the times that we're in, it's really an invaluable way of being and relating to the world right now. I believe that with everything, with all the chaos, dissension, what's happening in the world, inequality, injustice, the pain, the suffering, that obviously our rational thinking minds aren't able to address it, or we aren't willing to. So for those of us that are willing to start knowing these answers to life's, not answers, but guidance for life's big issues, this is what we want to start doing. And it can be for your personal issues as well. I'm not saying, it's all the wisdom can be used in any area, but especially for us to know that this is an incredible time for us to own and allow ourselves to be receivers of wisdom. What might the universe be trying to give us, to tell us, to guide us to, if we pay attention? So I invite you to that as well. All right, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here.